This is WWP Weekly Wrestling Podcast.
Joining me right now on the program is a multiple-time New York Times best-selling author, former multiple-time heavyweight champion, and one of the most recognizable names in professional wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley joins me right now to promote his 2015 World Tour rolling through Ontario this weekend. What's going on, Mick? Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. I'm doing good. So far, a World Tour has meant U.S. and Canada, but I think we're hitting a lot of. I did Northern Ireland too. So three countries. But next year, I'll have to change the name of the tour. I will be taking it across the globe.
2015 World Tour rolling through Belleville this coming Thursday, October the 15th. This coming Friday and Saturday, October the 16th and 17th, you'll be in Ottawa, and then this coming Sunday, October the 18th, you'll be in Kingston. Talk to fans a little bit about what's going to be going down at those events.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, about 6 years. I really should never have labeled what I did as stand-up comedy, because that's the first thing people say. Mick Foley, I love that. Well, a lot of people say I love that guy. Oh, he'll be telling jokes? No, I think I'll pass on that. And if I had just labeled it from the beginning as stories, it's a wrestling show, it is kind of like an acoustic evening, it's like a WWE acoustic stripped down evening, so it really is what, I don't know if you've seen the show, and it's, but
I have,
WWE did, maybe you could tell me before the show what I did last year so I don't do the same things. I mix it up a lot. In Ontario, Ottawa rather, I'll have Jason Sensation making a guest appearance, and that's always fun. He's just an incredible voice artist, and anytime I have a chance to work with Jason, we always come up with something new, different, and exciting. And even if we repeat a story like the DDP cookie story, seeing Jason as DDP is worth a second go round. So we're working on some stuff. I have it in my head that Jason Sensation, in the voice of Kevin Owens, as Dale Doback from Step Brothers telling Will Ferrell to stay away from his drum set, is funny. It doesn't mean it will be, and in that sense, it's like a wrestling match. You try something, it doesn't work like you hoped it would, and you adjust accordingly. But
I was going to say, comparing cities and adapting to crowd reactions, it's kind of like wrestling in that sense.
Well, it is. It really is, and the wrestling really prepared me for some of these crowds. You get a sense for what they're into, and it's a given. Like on the late night Friday show, people have had a little more to drink, so it won't, they won't be the subtleties that you might have, on Thursday or Sunday or even the Saturday shows or the early Friday show. But from experience, okay, these guys aren't going to get certain things. So I'll go with some, different collection of stories, and I try to make every show different anyway. So I will attempt to make all 4 Ottawa shows unique. But it is like a wrestling crowd. You see what they're reacting to, and you adjust accordingly.
Yep. Having your show taped for the WWE Network, has the exposure from the network helped the sales for the show?
Not at all. It's the weirdest thing. I thought that was the holy grail, and it didn't help at all. I can't explain it, because I think it's safe to say that the show, outperformed people's expectations. Maybe they think they've seen the show, not realizing that that's one show and that this.
I was going to say, maybe because it was given away for free, people were like, okay, I've seen it now, I don't need to go see one live. That
could very well be. So it's the strangest thing. I cannot explain why the airtime didn't help, because for years I thought if people could just see the show and get a feel for it, they'll want to see it. And don't get me wrong, attendance has been good. We've had some instances like in Belfast where shows sold out in 2 days, and we just added a new show to Galway. But by and large, in the U.S., it hasn't done anything for the sales. And I'm not blaming WWE. I'm really thankful they gave me the opportunity to do it. And 20 years from now, and people say, hey, what kind of show did you do? I mean, that's, high def, great, the production values are really great. I thought it was a good show, and I'll be very proud to show them what my show is about. But I love the fact going into different cities and trying different things, see what works and what doesn't. And in that sense, like I said, it's like a match.
For wrestling fans, talk about comparing your show to others such as JR's one-man show at Jake St. Robert's upcoming, Unspoken Word show.
Well, I haven't seen Jake's show. Jake asked if he could put some time in on my Atlanta show, and Jake's a great storyteller. And so I think, like with anything, with practice, it gets a lot better. I think JR's is really, he draws, I mean, it's a little more clinical. It's not quite as free-flowing. JR's probably not going to give you Kevin Owens as Dale Doback accusing Brennan Huff of touching his drum set. You're not going to have those moments. And for some fans who absolutely positively want the longer Q&A and the more clinical approach, JR's is the show you want to see. If people like me and liked my sense of humor over the years, then they'll really like the show. My pet peeve is the guys who just go out there and do the Q&A. That's not even trying. JR writes a new show for every, he'll write new stories for every city he goes to. Jake's a storyteller. If there's a pet peeve I have, it's not with a guy like Ziggler who spends his off nights going to open mics and working on his material.
Seems almost like
a lot of guys. What's that? Yeah.
Seems almost like a
Hey,
cop-out.
look, if somebody's booking you on a Q&A and the money's guaranteed, which it isn't on basically I've got to draw people in order to make any money. And I like it that way. I like the reward of working hard and kind of getting paid based on how many people are there. But certainly I did Q&As, in the old days, and when this tour is over, I might do them again. But I think people should know, and I think they feel good knowing that I work hard out there. I'm not going through the motions. And even in Revelstoke, Canada, where we did a ski town when there were no skiers there, and we had 26 people in attendance last September, a guy came up during the meet and greet and said, "Thank you for not phoning it in." And I said, "Oh, I'd never phone it in. I'll bring my A game, every night, as long as, whether there's 10 people there or 1,000, I'll always do my best to entertain the people who are there."
I've noticed that every single time I've been to one of your shows, and I appreciate that. I have one question that's outside of the show topic, just because you do a lot of independent wrestling show appearances, and the impact that independent wrestling is having on the WWE right now. I got to get your thoughts on that, such as Sami Zayn showing up in Evolve and all the WWE signings lately.
I didn't know Sami Zayn showed up at Evolve.
Sami Zayn is showing up at Evolve this weekend.
Oh, I didn't know that. Look, when I was an ambassador for WWE, part of my deal was I didn't do any outside wrestling ventures, and so I kind of missed out on the indie guys for a couple of years. I love going to the shows. At first, I just kind of wanted to be, just kind of sequestered, do my thing and leave. And then I realized that I was missing out on a lot of great wrestling. So, for example, when I went to Amazing Red's House of Glory show, I'm looking through the window, they had a window you could look through, and I was like, man, these guys are good. How long have they been doing this? And the guys went, oh, this is 6 months. I was like, they've been wrestling for 6 months, and they're having these kind of matches. So I really think there's some great talent out there, and there used to be a tendency for guys working in the big companies to dismiss independent wrestlers, but to go out, every night without your theme music and without kind of a Pavlovian response and try to get over every night, and in some cases, do it like good independent wrestlers do, takes a lot of talent. and not to mention, wherewithal and dedication. So, for example, last night I was just kind of marveling at Kevin Owens' match because I was like, man, this guy can work any style. And they made Kalisto, milk like $1 million and beat him with one power move. There may be some guys going, shouldn't he look stronger than that? In my mind, it was like, wow, he made Kalisto look great and showed he could win with one move. And I think you see that in guys who've worked the indies and are used to working with different people in so many situations. So someone like Kevin or Cesaro can, literally work anybody in any style, which is great.
Yep, I 100% agree. One more quick question on the status of TNA, your thoughts?
I don't know. What is the status?
Well, they're off TV supposedly as of now, so what to go from here?
Ouch. I don't know. That's unfortunate news. I like so many people involved there, including Dixie. That's bad. That's bad news for the business, bad news for my friends there.
I agree.
And, I know, TNA people, like to think of them, and I did too, as, what they could have been instead of what they were. But what they were was an organization that gave hundreds of people, a chance to show what they could do, gave guys like me a chance to, kind of, make a comfortable living and kind of get away from the WWE spotlight for a while. So that's really bad news. I hope they find a place. They got so many great people working for them. It would be a shame if that organization were to not exist.
I completely agree with you. On that sense, let's get right back to the shows. 2015 World Tour rolling through Belleville this coming Thursday, October the 15th, then this coming Friday and Saturday in Ottawa, and then rolling up with Kingston this coming Sunday, October the 18th. Mick Foley, thank you very, very much for the time. If there's any other plugs you want to shoot out there personally, feel free to do so.
Let me mention a couple things about the meet and greets in Belleville and Kingston. They'll be after the show. The late shows, the meet and greets will be after the late shows in Ottawa, before the early shows. So if you're going to the early shows, try to get there like an hour early for the meet and greets. And there was, I guess I had temporarily been booked on, I think, Hamilton.
Yep.
And I apologize. I did not think that was in the books when I said, I couldn't do it. So I apologize if anybody, saw the news and was disappointed.
I was one of those people.
Oh, you were? Yeah. When for example, I got to go out and buy a 2016 book because I'm taking dates and I don't actually have any place to write them down. So that's just an organizational problem. So I apologize for that. And we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see quite a few people out there. Thanks for vouching for me. That's a good, fun show, and we'll see how I can make 4 shows in the same location different.
You always make it happen, Mick. You always make it happen.
And the Q&A presents a chance to kind of, make every show unique anyway.
Hopefully you don't have any weirdos.
Well, we always get a call. Friday night late show, might be worth going to that just to see how I fend off the over-enthusiastic yellers. I don't really get hecklers. I get a few over-enthusiastic people just yelling out random stuff, and I've learned to deal with it. You pick up a lot with experience. That's
it. At Real Mick Foley on Twitter, www.realmickfoley.com. Get your tickets. Mick, thank you very much for the time. Hopefully we can do it again sometime.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.